You're listening to the Life in General podcast with Tom and Jaye. An hour of informative commentary on today's headlines, current events, and what's going on around the world and around the corner. And now, here are your hosts, Tom and Jaye Darden.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Life in General podcast here with Tom and Jaye, coming at you live with episode, I believe, 67. We're just cranking them out here, folks, blowing through the what we'll call season 2 of Life in General with Tom and Jaye, and coming at you. So we're going to start this episode off the same way we do every time and ask the man of the hour how he is down there in, as Eddie Money would say, down in paradise. And he has packed his bag and he will leave tonight, where he already left. But anywho, hey Dad, how are you?
I'm doing very well. We were hoping the sun would come out, but we had no sunshine today. And no sunshine when she's gone. So, I haven't put my sunglasses on in probably about 6 weeks, which is sad. I have some clear glasses that I wear when I'm riding the scoot. So I had my clear glasses out for about 6 weeks. So sunglasses are put up. I'll get them out when the sun comes out. So, but other than that, life's good.
I was going to say, it looks like you are like in a sweater right now, and I'm thinking to myself, no, there ain't no way.
It is a long sleeve shirt. It's just a long sleeve T-shirt that I wore going into town because it was 69 degrees. Who wouldn't kill for that? But it was a little chilly along the ocean front.
We would love some 69 degree days right now. Now, luckily, it is about roughly 80s. I think, knock on proverbial wood. Hopefully, in September, we're out of the 90s going forward. But only time will tell.
So, how was your Labor Day holiday? We don't have a holiday down here, so It's a scenario
where you definitely can feel that other countries don't have that holiday. There weren't a lot of emails in terms of, interbusiness communication, right? Where we're talking to other folks who we do business with domestically, but overseas, they were cranking it out. So,
right.
Yay, a long weekend. But sadly, in certain industries, I don't know if it's in every single one, but in certain industries, if you take a day off, well, you'll be screwed the coming week or weeks because you're playing catch up that entire time. And it is a pain in the butt. And then when you're supposed to be lounging around and relaxing over the long holiday weekend, it's just a scenario where if you're anything like me, you're going to be thinking about work because you're going to know, or when you get back, it's going to suck because the work just piles up, and then you have to play catch up, and it is a pain. But then again, that's the industry I'm in, and it's not something that I'm locked into, but I've definitely chosen it as my path going forward. So any sort of holidays or anything like that or hiatuses will be met with swift justice that the universe will say, hey, you take off? I don't think so, bitch. And then it'll just kind of smack you. And especially if you that was just a long weekend. So that's just one day, right? Where you're trying to work ahead and then trying to get you try to make it to where you're not like royally screwed in the end. But if you take a week or multiple weeks off, like maybe 2 in a row or something like that, you better have a really, really good team surrounding you and backing you up, because if not, it's just a freaking nightmare. Because freight doesn't stop just because, hey, this asshole took off work. It's like, perfect. That just means somebody else has to pick up the slack. Like, freight's moving all the time, and it's moving fast, presumably, depending on what kind of freight it is. But yeah, it's fine, and just kind of chilling and not doing a whole lot. But it was a Labor Day weekend. Got it down to the books. We're almost to the point where our vacation resets. So everyone's utilizing all of theirs before it runs out in October. And then the fiscal year rolls. And so that's always very pleasant when we get to have everyone who holds it until the end because they're trying to be cautious and make sure nothing happens throughout the year where they're going to need vacation. So instead, they hang on to it until the end of the year, and then they have to use it all or else they lose it because that shit don't roll. So.
Oh, wow. Really? Really? Use it or lose it. That's pretty crazy, isn't it? Well, not crazy. I've worked a lot of places like that.
Well, I mean, it's annoying as hell. However, next year, like the beginning of next fiscal year, like not this October, but the next one, your boy's gonna have 5 weeks off, and I'm pretty friggin' excited because I'm just gonna. What I have contemplated doing is making it so effectively you'd have 50, you have 25 days, right? Well, if you just cut that in half and then you have half days, well, then every Friday is a half day, or you just take every other Friday off, and then see what they think about that. But
okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay. When is your next holiday? Thanksgiving?
Yeah, Thanksgiving and then Christmas and then New Year's, and then it's a while after that. So.
Wow, that's crazy. But
it's, well, and that's the thing. Like, we have some people who are they fight for their holidays right around Thanksgiving or around Christmas and shit like that, and it is annoying, especially on how Christmas and New Year's falls, because that's the time when people take the most vacation every year. They always take it in between Christmas and New Year's because you get the maximum amount of time off with a minimum amount of time spent in terms of vacation and shit like that. So,
well, Christmas Day's on a Sunday this year, so New Year's Day will be on a Sunday. So there you go.
Yeah,
tell them all to shove it because it's on the weekend. You don't get any extra days.
Well, it's kind of interesting, right? Because that happens once, every so many years, and we're looking at it right now, trying to figure out. We'll most likely have that Monday off after New Year's Day, right? Quote unquote, or maybe the early Friday or something like that. But yeah, they're trying to figure out right now what days are going to be given for. Because every Thanksgiving, every Christmas, you get 2 days, like actual weekdays off. So we'll have to see how that goes, because that's going to be a nightmare if it's like 2 days in that prior week and then 1 day in that next week. Everyone's going to take off. They should just shut the business down for a couple of weeks because it's just absolutely crazy.
Well, if they earn it, if they work and earn it, you got to give it to them, right?
No, you don't. That's the best part. No, you don't.
Okay. All right. That's okay with me. I don't care.
Capitalism, baby. So, well, the problem is that, seniority would take hold, or this would take hold, or people have X, Y, and Z. And it's like, if people started to pull rank and shit, that would get pretty ugly pretty fast. Or it's like, oh, I called it, I have dibs. And then someone tries to, outrank them or some silliness like that. But, no.
Right.
I don't take any of those days off. Screw all that. I'll just work and move on. So.
Yeah, and there was a big taker offer either. So, but I don't remember working anywhere that you lost your vacation if you didn't. Either they would pay you for it or it would roll over to the next year. And I usually would just say, just give me the money and let me roll on.
Well, we can sell back a week until we hit like 15 or 20 years, and then you can sell back 2 weeks, which is insane. But it takes a minute before you can sell back 2. But yeah, you can sell back 5 days. So I mean, half a paycheck ain't nothing to scoff at. So
right. Well, that's true. Very true. So I was I set up. I get a scan for health reasons every like 6 months. So we called to get the scan set up down here at we call the surgeon that did my surgery when I was down here. And he immediately, we left a message. He immediately called back, wasn't 5 minutes, and asked, was I okay? And all that kind of stuff. And Pat handles all that. She's really great about handling all that stuff. And the doctor said, this is the guy, this is the doctor who will read it. The scan. This is where you need to go have the scan done. And I've already called and told him you were coming. So it's like, wow. I mean, everybody goes, well, how's healthcare in the third world? And I keep telling people, where do you think they go train? They go to the United States, or they go to UK, or they go somewhere else like that and train, and then come back to take care of their people. So the scan was exactly the same thing they do at Sumner Regional or Sumner Radiology or Premier Radiology, any of those places. Yeah, I'm calling all of them out. They did the same thing. They said, you got to go have a blood test to make sure your kidneys are functioning, so that when we give you the dye or the contrast, you'll be able to process it. Okay, cool. Went to a lab to have the blood test done. It was $4 for me to go in there and then draw blood and then send the results to us, who we then again forwarded it to the scan people, so they had that ahead of time. We go in. You don't have to have an appointment with these people. Pat talked to the lady that was there, spoke English. She said, let me know when you're coming, or about when you're coming, what day and about what time, and I'll look for you, and I'll, help you through the process. Really, really nice people. We went to Mediscan, Mediscan, Mediscan. So we did that and went in there. And that scan, I paid them cash. I have what's called IESS insurance here, which is Ecuador's equivalent to Medicare. But you have to jump through so many hoops, and you have to go do this and go do this and go do this before you can go see anybody. So I just pay people. That's what I do. And the scan, it's a neck to knee scan with contrast or dye, whichever one you want to call it, was $900. Now that's all in. That's
wow. Okay.
And that $904 with the blood test.
Right.
But that's $900, including, I said, do we have to pay the guy that reads the scan and gives us the results extra? No, that's all included. Mm-hmm. Okay. And same machine, same everything. I mean, everything is the same. And the last invoice that I got from a neck to knee scan from Sumner Station was $13,023.23. Same scan. The only difference is they do the blood test in the building before they take you back to the machine. And the medical industry and pharmaceutical industry is such a ripoff. It's such a ripoff now, and such big business that there's no going back. I mean, there's just no going back. And if you don't have insurance, I don't see how people survive without insurance in the United States. I mean, it's crazy. And I still pay a monthly premium for Medicare. I still do that, even though I don't use it. I haven't used it in a long time. We were looking at some medicines down here. A Lyrica generic, 120 pills here is $120. And it's really funny here because if you buy 2 boxes, they give you another box free.
Oh my, okay.
Yeah, have you ever heard anything so crazy? I mean, buy 2, get a box free. The generic equivalent in the United States, generic, not even the name brand, but not the generic equivalent, 120 pills in the United States is $659.84.
Oh my.
It's $500 more. It's $500 more for the same 120 pills. Right. What a ripoff! Well, what a ripoff! It's a ripoff.
I forget who. It's one of the Shark Tank people. They started a business where they only mark up their products in terms of it's pharmaceuticals, and they only upcharge at like 10-15%, something like that. Where and it's just generic brands from my understanding, but like from cost to making to cost that they mark up, it's nominal versus the $600-700 prices and whatnot. But
it's just like insulin. Insulin's been around forever, and they're still ripping people off on insulin. Pharmaceuticals companies and hospitals, especially with the pandemic, all that vaccine bullshit. They made millions and millions and millions of dollars lying to the public. And now it's like, well, Pfizer doesn't work, or Moderna doesn't work, or blah, 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 blah. None of it works, but you had to have it. And they charge people for it, or they charge the government so the government could say, we're giving it to you free. No, we're not giving it to you free. Your tax money's paying for it. You jackass, you just hadn't figured that out yet. But what a ripoff, man, the medical industry. Okay, I'm down off that soapbox. I'm moving on to the next stage.
Well, I was going to say, you probably wouldn't, I would say somewhere, inside the industry might seem very much skewed, but you also can't exactly, talk shit on the people who are at least in it, because they've saved your life 3 times. So it's like, it's not, sadly, it's not like the lesser of two evils or like a necessary evil, but to a degree, I mean, if we didn't have that, well, look,
I'm not mad at the doctors and nurses. I'm mad at the framework. And I look at Sumner Regional Medical Center in Gallatin, Tennessee, and their headquarters is in Ohio.
Yeah.
What the hell, man? Well, I mean, what's that all about? It's Sumner Regional Medical Center, and
it's
then
it's a business. Yeah, like, I mean, look at what I think I saw this recently, where like most funeral homes are owned by like one company, but they keep the name of the little mom and pop shop or whatever to kind of make it seem like they're not owned by some giant corporation. And then, but no, they're not
a franchise.
Right. Well, they're all owned by one entity, but they keep the face or the skin of, like Hughes and Coleman or whomever, right? Like whatever the names are that are local, and they just buy them out. Yeah, and they just say
Woodlawn's a big cemetery in Nashville.
Yeah, and they say cool. A lot of them, especially the ones that are like mid to small size, they're just bought out by one large entity, and they're all owned by the same people. So.
And it's just to me the difference is so huge. It's just amazing, the huge price difference in. I had a surgical biopsy done here, and I checked in the hospital at 11 o'clock in the morning. They operated on me at 1 o'clock and sent me home at 4 o'clock the next day, and it was under $5,500, all in, including the surgeon, including all the medicine, including the room, including the hospital bill, including everything. It was all in. It's under $5,500. For all of that. And there's no telling. I was in a private room by myself, and you thought I was an ambassador to the country of Ecuador, the way they treated me. And it's like, and I paid them up front too, instead of using insurance, I paid them cash. And it's like,
okay, well, one thing to look at too.
What was interesting though, and you got involved in this, was the surgeon said, I'll do the surgery for $3,500. Okay, well, I said, okay, well, I'll give you the $3,500. He said, well, let me give you a bank account and you take the money and put it in this bank account. Well, the bank account was in America. It was a Chase Bank. And so that brings a whole new meaning to offshore banking, or, so because you got the money and then took it over to the bank and made the deposit for me. And then we sent a copy of the deposit slip to the guy, and he goes, okay, you're in. But I thought that was pretty cool, because now the people in Ecuador here don't know how much the guy's making, because we just deposited cash in his account in America. So that's I guess that's one way of getting around it.
Well, one thing too, you got to understand, like, people are going to charge what they know they can receive, right? Where in Ecuador, well, minimum wage is $425 a month. They aren't going to charge someone $13,000 for one procedure. They know they would never get that money back, ever. I mean, in the person's lifetime, they wouldn't be able to make that amount of money if they're on minimum wage. Where if you look at the median salary for what Nashville was, I mean, in the 60,000s or something like that. So, and of course, people here, like I would assume, I'm going to make a grand leap, but I would assume most people want to continue to function, right? They want to continue to live. They want to keep their normal level of good health and whatnot. So they're gonna pay an arm and a leg, and especially if companies have insurance to just squeeze blood from the stone from, I mean, they're going to charge what they know they can get away with. And then if people go bankrupt because of medical debt and whatnot, well, then that's just a thing that happens, right? And then people, go into like a spiral, and it's wild. But yeah, that's one of the reasons why, like right now, having a job that has any sort of benefits is something where people are going to jump at the chance. I mean, that's one of the things that people were having to offer, especially after the pandemic, was benefits, right? Because you got to look at like, oh, well, there's a good chance I'm going to get sick. The government benefits are going to run out eventually. So I need to pick a place that's going to not shaft me when things hit the fan and I become a little bit ill, and then I got to take off and whatnot, because those bills and those expenses just rack up way too fast. And so it was and has been for a hot minute, like a good angle of the market to say, hey, come work for us. Like either your insurance is paid for or it's very minimal and it's decent coverage, right? So.
Well, I just found that interesting, the comparing the two and what a ripoff the medical industry, pharmaceutical industry is in the United States. Because you can get the same stuff down here. Hell, we had a cab driver that he has a pharmacy in one of the rooms of his house, and it's a storefront pharmacy. And he was a taxi driver, and he would deliver the medicine,
deliver your opioids taxis and shit. Yeah.
The pain medicine. Yeah. Muscle relaxers and pain medicine. He would deliver those in his taxi cab. We always thought that was fun, kind of cute down here. He's got a little brown paper bag, side-eye, here's your.
Well, I mean, if he can kill two birds, it's like an Uber driver taking an Uber Eats order at the same time. Like, why not?
Well, I understand, because he told me when I first met him that he wanted to stop working at 55, and he's probably 35, 38 years old now. And he said, I plan on retiring and quit working when I'm 55. So he's got a lot of stuff going on in his life besides the taxi cab and the pharmacy. He does some other stuff too. So,
well,
which is okay with me.
For sure. Well, and that's one of the things that they tell you, right, is if you want to stop working or stop having to work as hard, you got to make your money work for you, right? Like you have to be earning money while you sleep, effectively.
Right. You're right. You're exactly right. So I have to say that I am ashamed of being from Memphis at this point, with the news story they had this past couple of weeks of the Memphis jogger that was kidnapped and killed. Memphis has turned into such a shithole with crime, the homicides, the car thefts, the assaults, the robberies, and all that kind of stuff. The crime is just off the chart. Of course, I don't think it's as bad as, maybe San Francisco or Chicago or New York, but it's right up there bumping bumpers with them, because and it's funny because this lady, I don't know if she jogs every day or not, but she gets up to go jogging, and she's close to the campus of the University of Memphis. Okay, so she's in Midtown, which used to be kind of, it was okay because the university was there. University of Memphis was there. A lot of students live in the housing and all that kind of stuff in dormitories. She gets up to go jogging at 4 a.m. in the morning. Well, it's not even daylight. Now, I'm not going to be ugly and say she should have known better, but she should have known better. Who jogs at 4 o'clock in the morning? It's dark. And I know if she was a kindergarten teacher, so I know her. She had a couple of children, married a couple of children. So I know she was jogging before her day started. I get all of that. But you got to think. Because there's rules now. There's unspoken rules. You don't go running through the park in the middle of the night. We don't walk on the beach after dark. We were told when we first got here, don't go down to the beach after dark. Okay. Tell me one time. I'm not going down there. But 4 o'clock in the morning to go jogging, and she was kidnapped and assaulted and killed. But what I found interesting about the case was, the guy had a long rap sheet, and he had kidnapped a Memphis attorney not too long ago and held him at gunpoint and drove him around town until the guy got a security guard's attention, and they helped him escape. And this guy was sentenced to 20 years. What the hell is he doing out on the street right now? It's such bullshit. The justice system is such bullshit right now. So they pick him up, and they know because they found his sandals,
right,
or his flip flops with DNA on them, where she was last seen, where her water bottle and her cell phone were found. And so, long story short, they've got him in police custody, and he won't tell them where her body is. Yes, you will. Yes, you will. Her father is a billionaire, but this wasn't about money. The guy was just a criminal. He's just a bad guy who should be killed immediately, if not sooner. So it wasn't that he kidnapped her and was trying to get a ransom. But you won't tell me where she is? Yes, you will. You will tell me. I don't know how we're going to do this, but you're going to tell me before it's all said and done. And so he never said, and they searched for a week until they found her behind an old vacant house. They found her body behind an old vacant house that has his DNA on the body, her DNA in his van or SUV. So he's done. Why keep him around, man? He's no good. He's no good. Why keep him around at all? I don't get it. But, I mean, really? Really? 34 years old, kidnapped, beaten, assaulted, eventually died. No, there's just too much evil in the world, man. Too much evil in the world. And America's a bunch of pussies, and they just won't do anything about it. I don't get it. Like store owners that have guns, and now they're shooting back at these people. They probably won't have anybody knock on their door for a minute.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's going to be a long time before somebody goes in to try to rob them for, the cash that's in the register or some bullshit. It's like, is that worth your life, your existence, when the
80-year-old man is wielding a 12-gauge shotgun and points it at you. He blew your arm off. Yeah, while your buddies are out in the getaway car going to get part of the money, and you lost an arm.
Oh, yeah.
You didn't get anything. You didn't get anything.
I mean, that person's probably going to bleed out, or they're going to be, disabled forever, hopefully, and it's like ridiculous.
Hopefully they will. And then you said you didn't watch the news. Well, the mayor of New York City has sent a secret investigative team down to the border to see what's going on. It's not a secret. It's all over the damn news that you're sending them down to Eagle Pass, Texas, where 9 people have drowned.
Oh, wow.
in the last 30 days. They tell them, do not cross the Rio Grande River because it's running rapid right now. It's running rapid. 9 people have drowned and died trying to cross right there. Stand here for a few minutes from New York City and watch what goes on.
Why would they send people from New York down to Texas? It seems like a waste of money.
Because the Texas governor has started sending buses to New York City full of illegals.
Oh,
you're a sanctuary city. Oh, bring your tired and weary. Bring your poor. Okay. Ain't no problem, man. Whole busload of them, 50, 60 of them, get off the bus at one time. Oh, wait, there's another bus pulling up behind them and put them off there. He's sending them to Chicago. He's sending them to New York City. He's sending them all over the United States because Texas should not have to handle the burden of 1,000 people a day coming across the border. And Governor Abbott's doing that on Texas's dime. It's costing them like $1,000 a person to send these people on the run from Texas to New York. I don't know whatever became of their visit, but nobody will go down there and look for themselves. Biden won't go to the border. Kamala Harris won't go to the border. Mayorkas, the Homeland Security guy, he went down there and had blinders on. He didn't, nobody's walking across the border. Stand right here and watch, dude. They're not walking, they're swimming across the river. I mean, it's just, everything's out of control, man. And I don't see how Anybody with any iota of a brain can vote for anyone that's currently in position. I don't care if you're Republican, Democrat, Independent, Conservative, a Trumpy, or a MAGA, or a Joey Bag of Donuts. I don't care who you are. If you got any sense whatsoever, you wouldn't vote for any of these people. You wouldn't vote for any of them in the midterms that's coming up in about 60 days. So, and if Trump can't keep his mouth shut, I hope they put him in jail. He just can't keep his mouth shut. He's an egotistical, arrogant son of a bitch, and if he keeps talking, he's going to end up in jail.
Well, I mean, that would make the most sense, right? Where, I mean, especially being president, I mean, I would love to know what they told him versus what they didn't to make sure that he just didn't have that kind of information or that access to that info because, I mean, people can be corrupted. It doesn't matter who you are, right? Like,
they're making all this stuff up that he's got this document, he's got that. He doesn't have anything, man. He's smart enough not to store it on site anyway if he does. Come on, man.
Something that was pretty humorous to me. On Fridays, I have a group of people come over and play, Dungeons and Dragons, right? We nerd out every Friday evening. And so one of my really good buddies has become as liberal as one could possibly be, right? Hey, more power to you. Do whatever you want. But they talked about the Mar-a-Lago thing, and they said that they had like a handprint or fingerprints in the motion of not motion, but in like the shape of a hand. Effectively, they had a handprint of Trump, and the thing that this person could say about that, especially since their dad lives in Florida, was like the biggest kind of ha-ha thing was that, oh man, Trump has small hands. And it's like, that's it. I mean,
they don't have anything. They don't have nothing. They're making the shit up as they go along, man.
That's all that we have to, chuckle about. And it's something where like, haha, yeah, funny joke and whatnot. But it's also a scenario too, where, I mean, it's like, it's all beating dead horses. It's people are corrupt. Politicians, people in power, people with money, like these people can be corrupted or they can be shady and whatnot. And it's just like to continue the conversation about it, like just, in that sort of a setting where we're about to like go and play Fantasyland. And it's like,
it's exhausting.
It most certainly is. It's fucking tiring as hell.
Right. The same thing. They say the same thing every day, all the news feeds. And it doesn't matter if it's MSNBC, CNN, Fox News. It doesn't matter who it is. They're saying the same thing every day, which is nothing. Nobody's doing anything about it. Well, they've got this piece of paper and they've got that piece. Well, nobody's doing anything about it. It's like the guy that killed the lady in Memphis. Nobody's doing anything about it. They should have put a bullet in his head when they had the chance. I don't understand. Rid the country or the world of these bad people, man, that are so bad that they take another life. I mean, golly, man, oh man.
We've gotten into that before, right? Like, you can't just go around killing everybody who we perceive as vile or evil or whatever.
Yes, you can.
Well, the problem is that you would have been taken out at some point in time because of one thing you said or did or whatever. And it's,
absolutely.
And something that we kind of chuckle about a little bit is, don't tease us with a good time, effectively. Right. Where it's like, I'm awful. I could be taken out as long as you take out everybody else who is just as bad and worse. But for one, that's never going to happen. And two, it doesn't do any good to want that sort of a thing, right? Like, we can go around and around until we're both blue in the face, but it's not going to solve anything to wish harm upon others, right? Like, it's
death. Give them death. Public hangings. Death. Just hanging. Hanging.
That would be pretty graphic for sure. But
yeah. Or the firing squad. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool too. My understanding is Utah still uses the firing squad. I think that's badass. Yeah. So there you go.
Well, and that's something that I mean, like, the problem is when you start dealing out that sort of justice, the first time you get something wrong, it's over, right? Then then everything comes to a halt and it stops. But it's a scenario too where, like, would you want that on your conscience? Like, out of 100 people, you get one wrong, and it's like, well, the cost of doing business, and it's like, well, fuck that, right?
Collateral damage. Yeah. You saw where the last time they gave a person a lethal injection, they messed up the mix of the drugs, and the guy was still alive, and they were saying it was cruel and inhumane and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, I bet.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, they messed up the drug cocktail.
That's the shitty part about that, is when they are going to kill you, if they fuck it up, the problem is even if it sucks, in the end, they still got to kill you. So it's like, this is shitty, So, well, yeah, it's like, okay, just come out with the gun and just, and just be done with it, right? Like, put one between their eyes, or put it right into their ear, or right behind their ear, so it'll compress the brainstem. They'll go brain dead, and then all their bodily organ, or all their organs, will start to shut down because their brainstem is no longer functioning properly.
Yeah, I had a couple of interesting conversations with people across the world about guns this past weekend.
Oh, about guns. You mean where there are no other guns anywhere else ever?
Yes. And they were asking, one guy was asking about guns, and, how do you get one, and how do you buy it? And, what if the police catch you with it? And I had to explain licenses and permits and things like that. And he said, well, what if you go to a bar and you're drinking and you have your gun, you forget you have your gun? I said, you don't. You don't do that. You don't. If you're going to go drink, you don't carry your gun. That's a cardinal sin, man. So, yeah. And they couldn't believe that so many people in the United States carried guns.
Oh, hell yeah, man. I mean, I actually just updated my handgun carry to the lifetime version for Tennessee. So
there you go.
Just say screw it and get that over with. But hell, you can almost go down to the local Walmart or 7-Eleven and pick one up, and it right. Boom, like that.
I told them about gun shows and, hunting rifles and then self-protection stuff. And yeah, it was pretty interesting because this guy had a lot of good questions about firearms and stuff, and they don't have any where he is. And right. So I don't remember if he was in Japan or China, but China. Yeah, I talked to a lady the other day in China. They've got to be tested every 3 days. Everybody in the country, every 72 hours, they have to be tested. She was actually riding on the bus and holding her phone up to the window so I could see China, the city, go by. And she said, do you see that long line of people? And it was just 10:30, 10:45 at night. And there was a line, a quarter mile long of people standing. She said, they're standing waiting to get tested. They're in a line to be tested. She said, if I wasn't tested, I couldn't have got on this bus because they check it and enforce it.
Yeah, there was an article that we were shared by our branch manager where it said several places in China are going along with the lockdown to show loyalty to Xi Jinping, right? Where they're like, yeah, we're just going to keep the lockdown going for as long as anybody wants it, like straight up. Which to me,
it's like you said, if they've got control, why relinquish control?
Sure, I mean, why?
They've got everybody. They've got everybody where they want them right now. Got them under their thumb right now. So why would you lift the thumb up at all and give them any space whatsoever? And I thought, man, people have no idea what's going on around the world, and they've got their own little worlds, going to soccer practice or Cub Scouts or gymnastics or what the hell ever, And it's like you have no idea how free you are to move about the country and do whatever.
That's true. Well, something that is also interesting as well is that freedom won't be utilized by a lot of people. Like, it's something where, yeah, we can get on a plane and fly to Las Vegas and hang out for a weekend and then roll back, and it's nothing to it. It's a hop, skip, and a jump. Or we can just take our car and drive, several states away, like to the Rockies or something like that, and just do it, just go. Where in other places around the world, people just can't do that shit. Like it's difficult, and also there are lockdowns still happening, or there's just there might be impoverished, so you might not be able to do that or have the time to do that or something. And I don't know. It's as messed up as this place is. It's pretty nice. Most days. So
here in Ecuador, I have found that if you travel 8 hours in one direction, you can experience the Amazon rainforest.
Yeah.
And how cool that is. And if you travel 6 or 7 hours in another direction, you can experience snow-capped mountains, all in this country. So within 8 hours, you can either be on one of the nicest beaches in South America, or you can be in a snow-capped mountain, or you can go see an active volcano, or you can go see the rainforest, all in this country right here, which is pretty wild. You can go to the equator. The equator it's like 6 hours from here to the equator, or 5 hours. And you can go see the actual equator, jump north, jump south, and go back and forth. So,
and just explode because you're as close to the sun as you'll ever be. Like,
that's right. That's exactly right. Well, if it doesn't come out, it's going to lose my interest. So
I'm sure it'll pop back out right when you least expect it. So
yeah, and it'll be hot. Your scooter seat will be on fire when you sit down on it. Most people here bring a piece of cardboard around with them. They'll have a piece of cardboard that they're sitting on, and then they'll leave it on their seat, or they'll tuck it under their seat, or the edges of it, because the seats get so hot here out in the sun. But they ain't needed it lately.
Well, I was going to say, just carry around a towel with you. Put it around your neck, or put it in the seat when you're done, like in the little compartment. And then when you're ready to ride, just put it back out, and then you just keep going. You just keep riding.
Yeah. And I had an idea the other day that I pitched to this lady, and then she shot me down and said it's already been done. I wanted, how you said, put a towel around your neck. And I thought, I wonder if anybody's made a towel poncho, like a beach towel poncho, where they take a beach towel, and they cut a hole in it, and they put it over their head, and they have the towel in the front and the towel in the back. So you can dry yourself off with the towel, but you still have your hands free because the towel's in the front and the back, and you've got your beach towel with you, but it's hands free. And I said, I think that'd be pretty cool to have a beach towel like a poncho. And she said, it's already been done. The surfers wear them and all this. And I'm like, well, thanks a lot for raining on my parade. I thought it was a good idea. So,
well,
I thought it was pretty neat,
It is pretty cool, but also, like, there aren't many things in this world left to be, like, invented. So, unless you're dealing with, like,
you could say that's a cool idea,
like
Dad. I mean, it's just too bad somebody's already done it, old man.
Fuck you. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's like, there's not going to be a whole lot of shit out there that's going to be unique or brand new or anything like that.
Oh, you're right. So. You're right. These people down here are real creative. They're real creative. So yeah, you'll see all kinds of creative stuff down here. So
no, I'm sure.
Yeah. Because everybody down here is working. There's no freebies. There's no food stamps, and there's no welfare. Everybody gets off their ass and goes to work every day and has a job doing something. So, and what's really interesting is, and we've talked about this before, if you don't vote and you're over 18 years old, they fine you.
Yeah, they go down there and fine you. But that's misleading, because you can go down there and say neither candidate. You just have to go down and put your X. You don't have to go vote for either candidate, but you have to participate in the voting. Got to show up,
yes, and participate. Yes, and these people are worried about mail-in ballots or absentee, or I can't show, or I can't blow. And it's like, they fine them if they don't show up at the polls here. So you still are unappreciative about all the freedoms that you have in the United States. And the people down here, they make you go to the polls, or they make you give them money for not showing up. And everybody, when you're 18, you get a cedula, which is your ID, which is like a driver's license. It's got your picture and date of birth, and it's got a number on it and all that. And they know who voted and who didn't. They keep up with it because they don't have 330 million people here like they have in the United States. They've got about, I think it's 15 or 17 million in the whole country.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's not as big a country either.
No,
I mean, just
no.
land mass wise, it's just not. So
Right. Our land mass is the beach, and it really is nice.
Yeah. Well, that's nice and exciting, but you can keep the damn beach where you hang out there for 30 minutes and then you just explode because even if there is cloud coverage, you still getting them UV rays. That's for damn sure.
Yeah. I told a guy the other day I wanted to get so brown that I looked like I belonged here, so they leave me alone. Oh yeah, hey, let me go. Yeah. So
yeah, I'm sure. Well, the facade will only work so long until they start to speak very fluent, very quick Spanish to you, and then you say, "No comprende."
That's right. Slow down.
Yeah, Los Estados Unidos, lo siento, and it's like, oh. Nope, he's just as dark as us because he's been here long enough. Fuck him.
That's right. I went into the barber shop today, and the lady started going blah, 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 and I went over and I picked up the clippers and I set them down, and I picked up the comb and I set it down, and I said, "Trim up to here, trim clippers." And she's like, "Okay." So I sat down. She put the thing on me. Haircut here, $6, and that's in the mall, which is. Prices jacked up. Out on the streets, the little haircut places are $3. So, yeah. So I got me a trim. So yeah. So when the sun does come out, I won't be hot.
Oh, so there you go. Yeah, for sure.
I could get my neck red.
Oh man, so, the whole having the long hair thing. If I can make it through this summer, man, like just get me into fall and winter so I can ride this out until it's long enough to give away and then be done with this shit.
Okay. Right.
I just want to do it once. Just let me donate it and be done with it. And like, cool, I've checked the box off. Okay, perfect. Then I can go back to being like, fuck it. So.
Okay.
And then I'll start going around and look like Bobby Hill because the only person who would get mad at that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter anymore. So it's all good. And be like, nope, this is just easy and convenient. Like that's the only reason why I'm doing that. So, but it's all good.
That's right. So, it is all good.
Yeah, I mean, just kind of moving and grooving.
So this week or today, I talked to one person from China, one person from Japan, and one person from France.
Yeah, the France was new. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's the first time someone's called me from France, but he's actually from Africa, and he came to France to go to the university. He has like one more year on his master's degree, and then he wants to go work he's a intern right now, and he wants to go work in the UK. So that's why he's trying to learn English or brush up on his English. His English was really very good for somebody that said they didn't know how to speak it, but he was very good, very fluent. A lot of people get real anxious when they're talking and they're trying to get the thoughts out of their mind, and they can't put the thoughts into words, and it's frustrating to them. It makes them real anxious and stuff. That's a big problem with a lot of people. And it's like, calm down and just say what you're thinking, and people will be okay with it. They'll understand you because a lot of them do work with international businesses all around the world. Stuff like that. Yeah. So it's pretty different, but it's interesting to talk to people about their culture and why they live where they live, and, what they're doing and how they make a living, and do they have a family, and do they travel, and some places that they work will send a bus to get them or a van to pick the employees up. It'll make a circle around and pick all the employees up and bring them back to work, so they don't have to have a car or ride the public transportation. I thought that's pretty cool, man.
Well, It is pretty interesting. However, if there is public transportation, you got to wonder what the cost is of that, right? Where, I mean, they have to have a special kind of insurance to carry those kind of passengers, right? To have that sort of a service, they have to pay somebody specifically just to drive people around a lot. They're paying for insurance on a car. They're paying for gas. They're paying for car maintenance. They're paying for this and that and all and everything. And it's kind of unique when public transport in a lot of these places is readily available, and it's something where people aren't, opposed to taking the public transport, but
maybe the team is doing enough for the company that they can afford to pick that tab up. Maybe the people don't have enough money to do public transportation back and forth. I've talked to several people that walk, to work and back. One guy I talked to the other day walked an hour to work and an hour back home.
Wow.
Yeah. That's and he wasn't just sauntering along. He was stepping and fetching.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it's like an hour. He, lives pretty good ways away, but he does that every day, 5 days a week. So, because he was talking to me on his way home that night, as he was walking down the sidewalk, he was talking to me and we were conversing. Yeah. And it was 10:30 where he was, or 10:45, and it was 7:30, 7:15, 7:30 in the morning where I was.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, that'll keep you healthy, right? I mean, walking 2 hours a day, geez, man.
Oh yeah. And that's what he said. He tries to eat right, and he doesn't exercise because he gets it all in the morning and in the evening. But he does try to eat right and do the right thing so he can live a clean or good lifestyle or whatever. And I was like, okay, good for you, man.
Yeah, hey, we ain't mad at you.
Cool. Yeah.
At least somebody is, right?
I wonder how many people will remember 9/11 this Sunday. I just happened to glance over the calendar, and this Sunday's 9/11. I wonder how many people will remember that day. Do you remember what you were doing that day?
Yeah, I was in school.
Okay.
Second period, it was English class.
Okay. I was working at the pawn shop, and we had like 25 or 30 TVs up on the shelves, and they were all on the same channel. And we were paralyzed, standing there watching this happen on 25 different TVs, all of them showing the same thing. Yeah. Wow. But this Sunday would be, was that 2001?
Mm-hmm.
This will be 21 years.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. 21-year anniversary of 9/11.
Yeah, it's that definitely changed the game to a degree, right? It definitely put some things in motion that changed us forever.
Yes, it did. It changed airline travel forever.
Well,
and some
it changed privacy policies. It changed airline travel, security, all screenings, all sorts of stuff.
Right. Oh yeah. I mean, they wand us with a metal detector when we go into the mall now.
That is pretty intense. And you got to think, what in the world are you going to take in there? I mean, are you going to rob a little pastry shop and get
a gun? Yes. Go into the Marathon Sporting Goods store and rob it, or go to the movie theater and rob it, or go to the KFC.
But
that's the busiest restaurant.
Any guns down there?
Well, maybe they take a knife. I don't know. If people bring a backpack, they search their backpack when they bring it in.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Rob my ass with a knife, especially if you got to hop a fucking counter. I'm going to bash you over the head with whatever I got, no. Fuck all that.
Did you see the guys that were trying to rob the smoke shop? And one guy leaned over the counter and grabbed some smoke, and the other guy jumped over the counter, and the counter worker got his knife and just started stabbing
him 15 times or some bullshit.
Yeah.
And he
dragged him all the way over to the door. He was dragging him and stabbing him all at the same time, and then dropped his ass at the door. Yeah, his buddy, you can bet your ass his buddy didn't wait on him. Yeah, buddy got his little bit of smokes and was gone. Other guys bleeding to death on the floor. I love it. That's great, man.
That's shit's
But
wild.
they wand us. They wand all of us now when we go in. It's like, they even wand me, and I don't carry anything. All I have is a little bitty thin wallet in my front pocket, and my keys to my scooter, and I don't have anything else. But they do the whole thing, man. And then they say thank you very much or good afternoon or whatever, and it's like okay, no problem.
Well,
but they don't want them coming in there and robbing somebody.
I mean, I guess, but not. I don't know. That's a unique situation, right? Because
grocery store.
What
the commissary there? Yeah, commissary there. Grocery store.
The commissariato de Rio, but it's like, okay, you gonna steal groceries or some like home good products, like some home appliances? It's just
no. Pop open the register. I'm grabbing all the cash out of the register and I'm running out the door.
But there can't be that much money in it. Like
you'd be surprised at how much money that they, like a Friday or a Saturday or a Sunday, with all the people going to the beach and coming up there and buying their beer and their ice and their coolers and all their snacks and stuff, and then walking back down to the beach. I mean, the commissary is on the beach.
I understand that, but if everything's just fucking cheap as you say it is, they're going to make off with just a few $100s, and then is that going to be worth it to be potentially chased down, shot, beaten to death, like all that shit? That ain't worth the life taking it in the ass in a Ecuadorian prison for just a few $100s. Like,
we went into the bank the other day, and the guy had an old stainless steel Model 19 Smith & Wesson 6-shooter.
Wow, there you go.
Strapped in a tactical holster on his leg.
Silly as hell, man.
Yeah, and he was in not a camo. It was a desert brown jumpsuit.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's cool, because the tip of the barrel was sticking out the bottom of it, and he had it strapped in a tactical thigh holster. And I said, look, he's got an old Model 19 Smith & Wesson, man, stainless. The police used to use those with the 4-inch barrel. They were just as common as they could be. I said, that's 38 caliber. I was like, this is really cool.
Yay for nostalgia. Oh wait, it's not nostalgia. It's literally living in a third world country, and that's the firearm that they're able to purchase. So
yeah, but we were coming back from town the other day, and the military had a roadblock up, and they weren't bothering motorcycles or scooters. They told us to get on the other side of the road and come on through. They were stopping every car and every truck, and those guys had their M16s and were at the ready, or their AR-15s. They were at the ready. They had their mask on, up to here, and they had their helmets on. I mean, they were ready to go. If somebody had weapons, they were going to be ready with their weapons. And I was like, man, these guys are freaking serious right here, man. They had a big army truck pulled over to the side that probably was carrying 20 men or women in there. And it was like, wow, this is crazy. But they were stopping hoods, trunks, doors, open it all up, man. We're looking at all of it. And then I was like, cool, man. They waved us on through. Come on. We know you ain't got nothing, because you ain't from around here. You ain't got nowhere to put anything.
Well, yeah, that's the thing, right? Like, you're not going to hide an AR inside your scooter seat.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right. So it's like, okay. But I was talking to a lady from here today at lunchtime, and she told me I could apply for a permit for a firearm here. And so she said, I don't know, but she said, we'll dig into that a little bit. She's fixing to leave the country and go back to visit relatives in Alaska or something.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. She said, when I come back, we'll look into that, because we were talking about firearms and stuff, because she knew somebody that had been kidnapped recently down here. Yeah, that they were holding for a ransom. So she said they're snatching kids out of school, 6-year-old kid out of school.
Oh, wow. Holy shit.
Trying to get a ransom from their parents. And ain't nobody got any money down here, man. That's pretty ignorant, but yeah.
Well, if they're going to rob the grocery store for a couple $100 or $300, then they're going to fucking kidnap a kid for like 10,000, like, or some, or 50,000 or something. I mean, why not?
Nobody got that kind of money down here, man. Nobody's got that kind of money, I guess, unless they know, they've done their homework, and they're an ambassador's son, or they're a judge's son, or somebody.
It depends on the area you're at too. I mean, they could go be like taking people from Cuenca, or stealing lawyers' kids, or stealing public officials' kids, or what. I mean, who knows, man?
Yeah, the big
However,
thing,
you would think that they would put those kids into schools that would have security, right? Like that would be protected. But
the big thing now is robbing a bus. So, because the bus driver is either in cahoots with them, or he's stopping to pick these people up. It's supposed to be terminal to terminal, and he's stopping to pick these people up and put their fare in his pocket to get him a little pocket money. And then they're holding everybody at gunpoint on the bus and robbing them.
Wow.
So you're not supposed to stop and pick these people up, but you're doing it. So are you in with them? Or are you just trying to get that $5-10 worth of fare money and put it in your pocket? Are you serious? And you're going to put all of us at risk, the 40 people on the bus at risk? That's a new trend now, is robbing the bus.
That's kind of shitty. But.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't ride the bus. If I do, it's a local into town for 50 cents, and they stop so many times. Nobody could rob you because there's too many people getting on and off.
Nice. Well.
Yeah.
Well, it just goes to show you, right? Like every place has its issues and corruption and evilness and all that. But
yes, it does.
It's kind of the world is a place to behold for sure.
Yes, it is.
But all right, yes, we've hit our hour mark, sir. Is there anything else you'd like to discuss today?
No, I think I've ranted enough so far. So hopefully people will wake up and vote all these people out, because if you don't, it's not going to change. The price of gas is not going to change, and the price of bread and food and the mask on your kids at school. None of that stuff's going to change unless you vote these people out. I don't care
my
who
gas
they are.
was $3.08 when I got it this week, so it wasn't too terrible.
Well, they're dropping that. Well, they're dropping that so you'll vote for them in November, man. Oh, look, we dropped gas from $5 a gallon to $3.08 a gallon. It's still $1 more a gallon than it was when Bad Orange Man was in there. So
fair.
Still, they're trying to get your vote. They're trying to relieve the student loan. They're trying to get all of those votes by saying, well, we'll wipe your debt out if you vote for us, basically. Well, sure, everybody will vote for them. Yeah, okay.
All right. Well, Yahoo. So get out there and do your research and start to learn about the people in your district and your local.
Smash the like button.
Yeah, smash comment, smash like, tickle bell, follow
subscribe.
us. Subscribe and do all the things.
Like button or something.
That's it. So awesome. Well, thank you all so very much for watching and listening to the Life in General podcast here with Tom and Jay. We will catch you all in the next episode.
See you next time.